Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Ben on Jeskai Standstill versus Ben on Death and Taxes. All Ben finals. Decks couldn't be too much more different. We've got, and they're both grindy. I guess it would be a little different if one was a combo deck. Standstill has Urza's Saga, Ragavan, pretty much the extent of the threats. Whereas Ben is going to have pretty much everything in the deck is a threat of one size or another. Baracus holding the monkey back. Bounce legendary creatures. Thankfully not permanents. And oh no, Valiant being discarded. A dreaded one lander. Oh yeah, those are, I think, the most dangerous hands. I don't mind a bad hand when I draw my 7. Like that's not a problem. That's easy. Mullet, it happens to everyone. It's those ones that are really close where you end up making the wrong decision. That's where you lose percentage points there. That one lander not panning out. Then on the draw. Death and Taxes on the draw as Standstill undefeated through this point in the tournament. Death and Taxes with quite a task ahead of them. Some new cards to help though. Esper Sentinel along with Cauldron Complete making Stoneforge Mystic in some matchups the preferred 2-drop I should say. Not a lot of 2 deck. A lot of odd stat lines. You got Thalia at 2-1, Stoneforge 1-2. Skyclave Apparition does block in at a massive 2-2 body. Get the deck lists here. Like we've got for unconventional things, there's a Singleton Horizon Canopy, which has been done from time to time, giving the mana base a little bit of card drawing. Flagstones of Troy Carr as well. And aside from that, looking fairly standard. We've got the 3 Skyclave Apparitions, the Singleton Prelate, trying out the Esper Sentinel, also running a Solitude. Charming Prince has been earning its spot in many Death and Taxes lists as a quasi-Flicker Wisp. And then the Cauldron Complete in the main deck, along with Batterskull G and Sword of Fire and Ice. Post-board, Cataclysm, probably the card. Yeah, I think that's really the main thing in the board. I mean, Surgical, Deafening Silence, Disenchant, Rest in Peace, Canonist, Containment Priest, Sanctum Prelate, Solitude, and Revoker. I mean, I think it really is those 3 Cataclysms, which is going to be the main thing here. Bombing a Cataclysm would be absolutely huge, especially if you have a Cauldron Complete or Batterskull out. Issue with Cataclysm in this build is, I mean, you pretty much always want a Thalia on board, so Cataclysm realistically ends up being a 5-mana spell. That's really the only negative thing I could say about it. This deck would love it if you could just consistently play a Cataclysm for 4 mana. Shiny Rishadan Port bites the dust. Wasteland firing back. Now the monkey. Aether Vial pass. Missing a land drop again. Ooh, snagging the Batterskull. That's rough. That is really rough. Batterskull can help stabilize. It's a good thing there's a Cauldron Complete in there, so Stoneforge, if it does arrive, could still be impact player. Big body online. Not looking good so far, and Ben would need also white mana to be able to use the Stoneforge, and so far his mono white deck bereft of white. Certainly looks more in the keepable range with the Rishadan Port and a Wasteland and an Aether Vial. Not the top end quality hands. A Murktide Regent coming in at just a 5/5. Still huge. Upgraded Tombstalker. You know, was at one point legacy playable. Gurmag Angler, certainly the more popular choice prior to this. Oh, Wasteland takes out Ben's lone land. Mother of Runes put in off of the Aether Vial, but it's quickly swords before it can even block the monkey. And there's the Plains exiled. Another Plains on the top, though, perhaps keeping Ben in the game. Mother of Runes. Will she get to block? Here's a Thalia. Taking down the monkey. All right. Another Ragavan, but he's not really great in the situation. That Aether Vial is everything. Ben really wants to get a Wasteland here. Otherwise, this Vial will not be around for long thanks to this Urza's Saga. Flicker Wisp can potentially handle this Murktide Regent. Moving the counters. Raiding in combat. Oh, and another Urza's Saga. It's so much power from the mana base. It's backbreaking. We've got a Recruiter of the Guard. I don't love this line. So an end step Recruiter of the Guard. Leaving this 2 mana unused. I am not on board with this line. I would have liked to have seen this be a main phase play with the Stoneforge cast and now activating. Gonna have to be cast anyway. Stoneforge getting Sword of Fire and Ice. And kept his options open at the price of some mana. We'll see if it plays out for him. Constructs multiplying. Living Needle now can name Aether Vial or Sword of Fire and Ice, whatever Ben feels most threatened by. Could also name Stoneforge Mystic. Now there's not enough mana currently to be putting that in. Thalia is in chump block territory. Sword of Fire and Ice would be very expensive to cast if Pithing Needle was in fact stopping the Stoneforge. Tend to doubt that. Another land drops. Now Skyclave Apparition. Getting rid of the Pithing Needle. Does in fact get rid of it. So even if the Skyclave Apparition is handled, get a 1/1 for his trouble. Flicker Wisp incoming, hitting Recruiter of the Guard? No, hitting a Construct? It's a Construct. Full Guide Lantern or perhaps Relic. Oh, Retrofitter Foundry. I was going to say that all that was left. We haven't dealt with this. I don't know, I got Progenitor Mimic in my head. Retrofitter Foundry. The go-to for Urza's Saga. Pumps the rest of the squad. Stoneforge Mystic. saved here. Got some jump blocking going on. This is looking very grim. This is looking very grim indeed. Swords to Plowshares. Takes out the Flicker Wisp, and this Standstill list just looks like an excellent control deck. Kudos to the deck builders that have pulled this together so quickly. Control faces the eternal problem of there are no wrong answers. There's no wrong questions, only wrong answers. You're putting answers into your deck and the metagame is not presenting the questions that line up. You can just end up in a terrible spot, but this deck seems very well adapted to the metagame as it takes down the first ELD Legacy Open since the reopening. We'll be doing events every single weekend of various formats. Not sure when this is going to go live, but the order in July here went from the Legacy Open to Pauper to the pre-release to our biggest weekend in a very long time, which is going to be Vintage, and then the Team Trio, which is Modern, Legacy, Vintage. That's the weekend of the 24th and 25th, I believe. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have many of these live videos coming in. Good to be back.